Hey, what's up guys? Colton here with Grand Valley Sporting Goods, and today marks the very first day of the time of year that we're all excited about, besides bow season, and that is new bow season. And we're starting off with PSE. This is the first brand that we've gotten in for 2025, and we're starting off big with the Mach 33. So if you've been paying attention to last year, they had the Mach 30. This is really just a stretch out version, slightly different specs from that. So obviously, based off the name, this is a 33-inch axle, roughly just over a 6.5-inch brace height, probably 6 5/8, somewhere around there. And one thing I will definitely give PSE over a lot of companies is their carbon lineup is really what you'd expect out of a carbon bow, and that is lightweight. So this is a very lightweight bow. I think it's rated to 3.3 pounds, which is pretty good for what most would consider a longer axle bow. By the way, they also came out with a Mach 35, so a 35-inch axle, which is pretty cool as well. Just gives people more options as far as what they prefer. EC2 cam on this, so this goes from a 25.5 to a 31-inch draw, so it fits the majority of people, and especially a longer axle bow. I'm a 30.5-inch draw myself, so it going to a longer draw length is just going to be a little bit more forgiving for somebody with a big wingspan like myself. And just like most other companies, they have some integrated options as well. So right off the bat, they have a pick mount, for example, like what Hoyt has. So any of the sights that mounts a Hoyt bow in the past handful of years, it's going to mount this PSE. And the one thing I do like about the pick mount as well, especially if you run a slider sight, is you do have more coarse adjustments for your elevation adjustment, especially based off of where your anchor point is at the string. Where the sight's going to be sighted in at 20 yards is going to be relative to that. So having the ability to make a more coarse adjustment to give you more track on your sight, to get a little bit more adjustment there when you're shooting at distance, is very important. Next integrated option, you can't really see it because I have Whisker Biscuit on here because we're going to shoot it, is a dovetail mount that's going to mount all the integrated rest options out there, mainly going to be QAD. So that is awesome as well. And just like the Mach 33, they do have a burger hole down here to where you can mount a stabilizer to that, take this dampener off. And in my opinion, the benefit to that is going to be if you get your stabilizers or any other weight further away from your hand. From what I've tried out, it kind of lowers the center point of gravity and just makes it more stable for the stabilizer that you have. But you do have the traditional burger hole too if you want to mount your stabilizer there. And then they have a few quiver options. So they have a 2-piece quiver mount that's going to mount in the riser. Just like many other companies, they're all trying to get more streamlined. That's kind of the era that we're in right now, which is definitely beneficial, especially if you shoot with your quiver on. It's just going to be more proprietary to the bow, make everything more streamlined, balance a little bit better when you have a quiver loaded full of arrows in there. And then they do have a quiver option that mounts to the roller guard here, so you can remove that quiver. So especially in the whitetail woods, if you like to hunt with your quiver off, but maybe you're going out west, going elk hunting, mule deer hunting, a little bit more spot and stock opportunity, you want to leave quiver on, it's still going to fit more streamlined to the bow and shoot very well on the bow as well. So one thing to keep an eye out for at the end of this video, we're going to speed test all these bows. Now, what I see a lot, and there's definitely nothing wrong with this, but just give another option. I would say I see a lot of videos to where they speed test a bow with, say, for example, a 350, 450, and 550 grain arrow. And in my opinion, now granted I could be wrong, but based off of the, say, same draw length, same weight, it's producing a certain amount of energy to where, speed is going to be relative. The more weight you push, it's going to have a constant drop off. And what I want to see personally, and I hope it has the results that I'm looking for, is we're going to test this at 70 pounds with a 350 grain arrow, but we're going to do a speed test at 28, 29, and a 30-inch draw. Let me know in the comments what you think about that, but in my opinion, based off of all the manufacturers and the design of their cam, that cam is in a different shape. So that's going to have a peak amount of energy. Now, still, the longer you go with draw length, the more speed you're going to get. But the rule of thumb that at least we've had of 10 feet per second per inch, I want to see if that's the same across the board with all the cam options. So that's one thing that we're going to do in our review videos this year. So keep an eye out for that. Personally, I think it's a good way to tinker and something very interesting. Now, granted, speed is all relative. There's many other things that you should look at into a bow besides speed, because all of them around the same axle, at least that we've tested last year, are all around the same speed. So if you want to see all that, stick to the end of the video, and I'm very interested to see the results in that. So next bow option. So this is the PSE Decree. Decree is not a new name for them, but this is a completely new bow. So this is going to be one of the aluminum options that they have. So this is going to be a 31.5-inch axle to axle overall, still keeping it long, which I personally like. So this is going to have all the same features that the Mach 33 has, but obviously because it's CNC machined aluminum, it's going to be a little bit heavier, but it's going to lower the price as well. Still really durable, not going to be as durable compared to a rolled carbon riser, but generally the majority of people aren't going to put their bow through that unless you plan on running it over with a four-wheeler, which I don't recommend doing that regardless of the bow. So you still get the pick mount up front. Integrated option for the rest, so you can run all the dovetail options for that. Obviously, the quiver is still gonna, their integrated quiver options are gonna mount to the riser as well. Still get the stabilizer option in the bottom of the riser. And then with this one, just like the Mach 33, you get the EC2 cam. So this is gonna run from a 25 to a 31-inch draw. The Mach 33 is going to run from a 25.5 to a 31.5-inch draw. One thing I did forget to mention too is they are going to offer a Mach 35, so that's going to be a 35-inch axle to axle. Guys that are running longer than a 31.5-inch draw, that's going to be a longer draw length as well. So guys that are out there watching this video that have a longer draw length, we deal with many of you guys out there, that is a good option for you as well. So spec wise, besides the axle length, this is going to be exactly a 6.5-inch brace height. Going to be a slightly different grip because with a Mach 33, you're basically shooting off the riser. Now, granted, you can kind of customize that with like different grip tapes and stuff like that, but this is just going to have a slightly aggressive texture to it, but this is going to be more of a rubber grip option, so it's going to feel a little bit different. But again, this is just a very good option that PSE has to offer as well. Then lastly, this is the PSE Drive NXT. So this is a slightly more aggressive cam option. So this is going to be their ZF cam system. So this lengthwise runs from 24 to a 31-inch draw, 7-inch brace height, 33-inch axle to axle. And this is going to be a slightly different option. So this does not have the pick mount up front. You still get the integrated dovetail mount on the back, still get the burger hole on the bottom. But this is a more aggressive cam style, being a little bit more egg shape up here, but I have shot it personally. Draw cycles this year with PSE, normally they're a little bit more aggressive for my liking, but I would say above all, they have a smoother draw system this year, in my opinion. And then one thing I forgot to mention too is just the IBO specs for speed. So that Mach 33 is 337 IBO. The Decree is 337. Oh, I think I got those mixed up. Yeah, the Mach 33 is 335. The Decree is 337. And then this one is 330 feet per second. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, We're going to do some speed tests between all these bows at different draw lengths, same poundage, same arrow, just so you can see, because 28 to 30 is just kind of covering the majority of draw lengths out there. You can just get a generalized idea of just the speed that it can produce, or the efficiency that it can produce, I should say, at that draw length as well. So that's pretty much it. Let's get shooting. All right, so we're going to do the speed test now. So with all of these speed tests, we're going to be shooting this Easton Sonic in a 340 spine. This is with I think it's a 45 grain tip. I mean, super lightweight tip that we had left over. But this arrow weighs exactly 350 grains. So you can kind of use this as a reference in speed across all these bows. So we're starting with all these at 30 inches. And all these are going to be 85% off, because at least the flagships, everybody has an offering in 85%. And that's what the majority of consumers are going to shoot. So that'll give you a rough idea on the speed of these. So like I said, we're going to start at 30 between the three, then we're going to drop in 29, 28. And on the whiteboard right here, we're going to record all the speeds throughout all the bows. So at the very last video, for the brand review, whatever brand that may be, you can actually look and see just all the speed comparisons between all of them. So anyway, let's get at it. This is the Mach 33. We're going to do 2 shots each just to get an average. So that's at 329. And one more. $328. So out of the two, we'll take the highest if it's only 1 feet apart. So Mach 33 at 30 inches is 329. All right, then we'll shoot the Decree. And these are all exactly at 70 pounds on the dot. 331. $330. All right, and then last but not least, the Drive NXT. Gotta say, all the PSE lineup has a pretty smooth draw and a pretty solid back wall. So that's at 318. Another 318. Got the Drive NXT at 318. So we're going to set all these to 29 inches. Try it again and see how they compare. All right, so we set all these to 29 inches. So again, we're going to start with the Mach 33. $314. 316, so we'll do an average of 315. Oops. Which is definitely more of the dive off than I expected. .315, so that's a loss of 14 feet a second. All right, so next we'll do the Decree. .319. By the way, shout out to our service manager, Tyler, who's playing cameraman, by the way, and adjusting all these bows for me. Or at least helping me do it. 320. All right, so that's a loss of 11, so not too bad. So then we've got the Drive NXT, which I think I forgot to mention that this is an 80% let off with no adjustment to it. So that is gonna boost the speeds a little bit. 307. And another 307. Another 11 foot per second drop off, which is kind of expected. So I'll set all these to 28 inches and see what kind of difference we get there. So we set all these to 28 inches. Let's see what kind of speeds we get. .303. .304. So the Mach 33, doing an average of 304, which is 11 feet per second loss compared to 14. So definitely seeing the results that we wanted to see. So next we got the Decree. Again, 28 inches, 70 pounds, 85% let off. 305. Does the straw length look short on me?
Just a wee bit.
306. Very interesting. So we got a 14 foot per second drop off. 306. And the Drive NXT. .293. 295. So we'll do that 294. Okay, so here's the results that we got with the PSEs between 28, 29, and a 30-inch draw. My opinion, it's kind of the results that we wanted. So, like I said, kind of gives an average of the majority of people that are going to be shooting these bows and gives a pretty average span in draw length, but just kind of shows you where the cam efficiencies are at. So appreciate you guys watching. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because we are going to be doing reviews on all the new bows coming out this fall for 2025. If you have any kind of suggestions and what you want to see in these reviews, just let us know in the comments. Other than that, thanks for watching. Have a great day.